Hello everybody and welcome back to Leighton. Today's video is about hardening off your really young plants. So if you've got plants that are at this sort of stage, you've been sowing them in January and earlier this month, and now you're getting some healthy young plants, you've managed to avoid the light issues and you've managed to keep them warm indoors and things are growing. Well, we need to start hardening these off, but we need to do it carefully and slowly. Now, hardening off is basically a way of getting your plants used to being in the colder temperatures outside with the wind and rain and all the other things. And there are some very well-known gardeners with far more experience than me that claim they don't harden things off. The jury's out. It's something I've always done. It's something a lot of top gardeners do. It's really personal choice, but for me it makes sense that by getting your plants accustomed to the temperatures and the conditions outside slowly and over a period of time can only be a good thing, rather than just putting them out and shocking them with those changes in environment. And it is so simple. Today it's going to be a really nice sunny day. Where I am in Shropshire, we're looking at temperatures of about 10 degrees today, 11 degrees, and that's certainly hard enough. That's certainly hard enough to put things out. The hardier plants like brassicas, so these are some young broccoli plants, lettuce, onions. What else have we got here that can go out today? Spring onions. There's all sorts of plants that we've been sowing in January that are now seedlings or young plants that can be hardened off. I wouldn't be hardening off at this time of year in these temperatures of 10 or 11 degrees things like peppers, chilies, tomatoes, cucumbers. The more fragile plants, I would be keeping those indoors and letting them progress that way. So there's various ways of hardening plants off, and the simplest way is when it's a nice sunny day like this, just take the plants outside in the afternoon, sort of late morning, afternoon, and leave them outside for 5-6 hours and then bring them back inside. When we get in temperatures like we're going to get tonight of say 6 degrees in the area I live in Shropshire, I'll actually be leaving some of the hardier plants, so the brassicas and the onions and things, in a cloche. And the cloche is basically a structure that is in the garden with either glass or like a polythene cover, and it's an intermediate step between the safety of and warmth of indoors and the cold conditions of the soil in the garden. So tonight things like lettuce, onion, brassicas, spring onion, etc. I will be leaving in the cloche and slowly getting them used to the colder temperatures. Although the weather forecast is a fantastic tool and there's lots of websites, etc., have a thermometer and see what the temperature is where you want to put your plants outside and check it. And we're just under 5 degrees here, and that's going to be a little bit cool just now. Give it a couple of hours and that'll have warmed up. that's my seedlings I need to harden off outside, and it's still quite cool. It's probably about 6-7 degrees now, and there's a bit of a wind, but that's good. The plants I brought out are hardy plants anyway, and this is just going to customize them to the growing conditions outside early in the year. Now when I talk about clutches, this is a cheap clutch. Got it from Home Bargains. It was, I think, £15. And tonight, with the warm temperatures of about 6 or 7 degrees through the night, these plants will be in there, and again, just getting them more used to being hardened off. Now, of course, there's other ways that you can harden plants off. A greenhouse, an unheated greenhouse, is basically just a big clutch, and you could be bringing plants out, if you have a greenhouse, and leaving them in here, just keeping an eye on the colder temperatures, and bringing stuff back into the house if need be. Now, we don't have a lot of room in this greenhouse. It needs a good clear up and a sort out, but it's also in the wrong position. It's north facing. We didn't put this here, it was here when we moved in, and it is going to be moved to a south facing position. So for us at the moment, at this time of year, this greenhouse isn't a lot of use because it doesn't get any sun. However, if yours is in a sunny position, then start utilizing your greenhouse to harden off your plants. And this is another way of hardening off. Basically, I'm protecting these very young parsnip seedlings with half a pop bottle. It's basically a mini clutch, and it just helps them get through the cold nights and the frosts. And we've had a frost here the last 2 nights, and these plants are still looking healthy. Now, that is because parsnips are hardy. They are very hardy. I wouldn't be doing this with a plant like peppers or tomatoes, for example, because they just couldn't withstand the temperatures. And of course, we all have limited space at this time of the year to be growing things inside, and by hardening stuff off when the opportunities arrive, so that we can then progress them and move them onto cold frames, clutches, greenhouses outside, that frees up more space inside for growing things like these cucumbers and getting them started before hardening them off later in the year and eventually putting them in the garden, you know, in May or something like that. So it's a process. It's a bit like a production line. You're sowing your hardy seedlings, your hardy plants in January and February, and then hardening them off in February and March, and then planting them out in March and April. And you're starting your more delicate plants, tomatoes, cucumbers, etc., squashes maybe, and you're doing those later in the year. You're sowing them in February and March, and you're hardening them off in March and April, and then you plant them out in May and June. And it's a production line, it's a process. Now, there are some exceptions to that, and that is chilies, peppers, things that take a very long time to grow. Celery as well. I mean, I've got celery seedlings growing here. They were started beginning of the month, February. I won't be hardening them off yet, so they will remain indoors. But by moving things on as fast as you can, you release space to sow the next lot of seedlings. And on chilies and peppers, mine they don't even come up. And I've learned the hard way. I really need to invest in a heated propagator or a propagating mat to give them the germination temperature, which I believe is about 26, 27 degrees. And I've just not been able to attain that for long enough to germinate them. So, don't know, it could be a very, very bad chili and pepper season for me. But you win some, you lose some. So I hope you've enjoyed that really quick video on hardening off and preparing your young plants and your young seedlings for being planted out. And let's face it, we're mid-February now. A lot of these plants are going to be planted out in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, depending where you live. yeah, sure, we probably will continue to protect them with some fleece, or clutches, or other methods, but they are going to be planted out soon. So take advantage of this nice early spring, late winter weather that we're getting, the nice sunny days and the warmer temperatures at night, and harden your plants off if you can. If your area is a lot colder than where I am, then don't do it. Leave them inside for a bit and just wait. It needs to be done gradually, slowly, and your plants will be stronger and more resilient for it when you plant them out. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. It's just a quick video on how I harden things off and get them ready for later in the season. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you have not already subscribed, please do. It really helps the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Thanks very much. See you on the next one.